right, so Watch Dogs in the news lately, for good reason. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think it's very present day that we have all the security stuff with NSA listening in on phone calls with ministers in Europe, and even at like a little bit earlier this year, NSA listening in on phone calls done in the US. I think it's very present. We started about 4.5 years ago, and this is kind of a little bit of a dream come true for us that, you know, people are talking so much about that right now, because we knew at the time that this was an issue and a privacy issue that's there, and that's something we wanted to highlight, and that's very much what Watch Dogs is exactly about.
It's almost like it's too much in the news. You don't want it to be like because you don't want it. Maybe it causes some sort of issues as well if you're too much in.
I mean, I won't lie, we've gotten the questions, of course, but we don't glorify it. It's not about what our main character does that is, you know, it's a tool for him to use to be able to ultimately get to his goals. And for the player, it's very much also about how you use the tools that are at your disposal. And hacking is just one part of it, but it's a very powerful tool for sure. So I don't necessarily see it as a negative thing. I think it's good that we make people aware of that it's there, and I think that that's part what movies does, and games should do the same.
Is it a case of maybe sort of just raising the issue and letting people think about it, rather than sort of pointing this is what it is and this is what you should think and feel?
Very much so. I mean, we've had consultants on board that we've been talking to, and we looked, of course, a lot at what they talk about at DEF CON conferences and stuff like that. And that's out there in mainstream media if you really wanted to. So if people want to search on it even 3 years ago, they could have, and they would have found the similar results. So we're just bringing it up to a higher level, I guess, and with more exposure.
So if we sort of approach what you're working on, the cinematics of the game, what kind of tone are you going for? What kind of vision do you have for that? Because it's a very important part of telling the story, of course, and it's tied in with everything else. But what approach have you taken?
Well, I think what's been essential, just because of the present day theme, is to keep it very contemporary. So we've focused on a pretty serious tone. Obviously, there's also a little bit of the comic relief and stuff in there, because it's important to us to just not make everything, really, really dark. We have our shiny moments of fun as well. And the player is, of course, free to do whatever you want in the world and can have fun with that too.
But Aiden doesn't seem like a fun-loving person, is he?
No, but we have a nice cast of characters, so you'll see some of them. At the first E3, you saw a little bit about Jordi Chin, one of Aiden's friends that helps him. He's super funny. I love shooting with him. On the mocap shoot, we're always having fun as well. He's one of those guys who just always brings a vibe to the set. And even then, Aiden, or Norm Jenkins, who plays Aiden Pierce, is the same. I mean, we always have a lot of fun on set, but they're also very serious actors, and Norm really brought that in with Aiden as well, and wanted to make him more introvert, like it's the little kid at school, who got beaten up, and one day he showed up with a baseball bat and kind of beat somebody down a little bit just to make sure that nobody would bully him anymore. And that's the kind of guy that I think Aiden Pierce is a little bit. Somebody who stood up to bullying and made sure that it wouldn't happen again, but still a little bit more introvert and obsessed with surveillance, obviously.
So you mentioned that. I mean, I would imagine, I know you worked in other places before. You used to work at Grin, and how is sort of, if you compare the work that you do today with the mocap and with everything, compared to what you used when you started out in this industry and where you sort of progressed, how's it changed?
Like, as with any other game that's grown to the proportions we are, it's just a different budget. It's a different level for sure. What it has allowed us to do, and one thing that I've been really proud of is among others, the casting we've done. We've been in Chicago, we've been to LA, we've cast actors that we feel are the right people to represent Chicago. Even just our living city that we have in the world is all people from Chicago. It's all voices from Chicago. We spend a long time there, and even just trying to reproduce the flavor of Chicago. And it gives us budgets to do that. With motion capture as well, we try to shoot very much a little bit like a movie in the way that the actors are comfortable with. We have the camera guys there, and we shot literally back to back for I think like 6 weeks straight, and then of course a little bit more here and there. But we pretty much attacked it the way we would have done a movie as well. We had a world-renowned editor on board, Richard Comeau, who helped us on the cinematics as well. So it's the type of people that you get to work with that's unique. And Richard Comeau, was nominated for his film was nominated for an Oscar last, stuff like that is the kind of people that you get to work with. Also, the tech that you get, the people that you get to work with. A lot of kudos to the programmers that we work with, all our technical directors as well. Everybody on the team has been able to do more, and that's what I like about how Ubisoft approached this. We didn't even know about next gen at the time. We just said, okay, we just have to push as far as we can, and let's not worry about what we're actually shipping on. Let's just make it as crazy and as great as we can. And now that we don't have the consoles and we know what to do with them, then we're just doing the final adjustments to make sure that it is actually at that quality level we want to be at.
That's the sort of the added sort of the fact that you spend 6 weeks working with the actors, that you spend all this time. Does it change the relationship a little bit? Is it like almost like you respect their performance a little bit more, and are you perhaps a little bit more limited in what you can sort of tweak and change? Or how's that work? No,
but we have one thing that we really tried to do is involve some of the key actors really early on. So we had a lot of rehearsals. We had even like what we call in the industry called table reads. We sit and read through the script. We all get to talk about it and make like minor adjustments on the fly to make sure that the script represents the characters that the actor is portraying. Stuff like that is always done on the fly. And I think that the cohesiveness of everything. The cohesiveness of everything that we put together, because we got to shoot back to back like that, has just improved the quality that much more. And I think the actors appreciate that. It's like I feel like I'm friends with these guys now too. So I look forward to seeing them again, and it's always fun to have people and friends around in LA and Chicago if you go there.
Because I guess it's a little bit different than when it was voice actors purely. It's a little bit different kind of actors that you hire.
We made really sure that everything that we do on set is the performance. We try to stay away from voice acting as much as we can. Obviously, a lot of voice has been recorded for the generic city, but everything on the motion capture shoot itself for the cinematics has all been recorded on set. There could be small instances where you hear like a zipper that's hitting a table or something like that, so we try and edit that out. If we can't, okay, we might go in and just take that single line and ADR it, as we call it. But even then, I try to keep that to a minimum, because the performance is essential to us, and I think that shines through as well. It's really what they wanted to do. And the animators are there to push that performance and make sure we get all the quality out of it as we can. And so.
Sadly, Watch Dogs is not coming out in a few weeks like it was initially announced. Could you just tell us from your perspective what the delay means?
Well, I mean, it's always nice with a little bit more time. You always have a little bit of a top 10 list of things you want to do. But I think it was a very strong move. It was a gutsy move. I know a lot of people were a little bit unhappy with it. I understand that, but at the same time, we wouldn't have worked on something like more than 4 years to just push it out just because there's a new generation consoles coming just now. We want to make sure it's the right game it deserves to be. It's the first true IP on the next gen of consoles anyway, and that's what we want to make it. We want to make sure that the audience is happy with what we do, and that little extra time is going to allow us to do that. It's pretty much that simple.
Is there anything specific that you're working on that you feel you will be able to hone a little bit more with the added time?
No, but of course, I mean, we all do playtests. We monitor what's the game, where's the strength, where's the weaknesses, and we can then go in and tweak some of those weaknesses. That's what I'm interested in looking for and finding. But again, I like the story. We might shuffle a few things around, but that's about it. So.
And I don't think you have a new date set. It's like sometimes in 2014?
Yeah, it's in the spring 2014 for sure. So.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
You screw around and you get people hurt.
Or worse. They think I'm a man out of control, but I've never had so much control.